Okay, so I am going to show you guys how I personally use the Flawless 4, which is primer, foundation, concealer, and the liquid foundation brush. But I'm also going to throw powder in there because powder is still such a crucial part of my makeup routine. So I kind of want to show you how I utilize that as well. So this is primer, and I always start with like a pea size, nothing crazy, because you don't want too much, okay? Because if you put too much, then, because the idea of primer is that primer is going to go into all those open pores, any fine lines or wrinkles, any little imperfection, and it's going to get in there, and it's going to really give us just coverage, not necessarily like covering stuff, but it's going to give you that solid base to add. It gives you that barrier. That's the word I really am looking for. It gives you that barrier between your face and the foundation and the rest of your makeup. That way, when you're putting it all on, not only does it have something really great to cling onto so it lasts extra long, but it's also going to give you a solid base to put your foundation on. That way it looks as flawless as possible. Okay, so with the liquid foundation, this stuff is great. Shake it up because it's a mineral based makeup, so shake it up and then use your dropper, and you can put it directly on the brush, you can put it directly on your face, whatever you're more comfortable with. I usually put it on my face just because that way I know how much is going on my face. That's just me personally. And as you can tell, I just use like the sides to get like the little bit that I need for my forehead and my chin and my nose. Because you don't need much of this makeup, okay? Always start out with a little bit and then add as you need, because it's a powder finish foundation. It is going to spread really easily, okay? And so you don't need, like, I thought whenever I first got it and was putting it on that I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to blend it out that much and it still give me coverage, because I thought, if I blend it too much, then my coverage will go away based on other foundations that I wore before. But this is actually the very opposite. The more that I blend it, the better it looks, because it's a powder finish. So the more blended it is into my skin. And there's also these things called optical diffusers in them. And it basically just blurs imperfections. And so the more that I blend that into my skin, the better my actual skin looks. So it's fantastic. I love it. I love it. And then you got the concealer, okay? And this stuff is really great for concealing, for coverage, and for highlight as well. So I take my concealer and I put it under my eyes, and I kind of make these little upside down triangle looking kind of things. I put just a dot on my chin, on my Cupid's bow, and on my nose, because alongside of coverage, I use it for highlighting as well. And the reason we highlight is because it brings attention to the parts of your face that you want attention brought to, which in return of doing that, it takes away attention from other places because you are putting attention on specific ones, if that makes sense. So just like when we wear an outfit, if we wear a belt, cinched at our waist or something, we're doing that to highlight that area, to highlight our hips, to make our waist look smaller, right? And so that's basically the same idea, that you are highlighting certain places on your face to really bring attention to certain places and take attention from others. And so going under my eyes with this little bit lighter concealer, my chin and my Cupid's bow and a little bit on my nose. Of course, not only does that add coverage, but that gives me just a little bit of a natural contrast. So then the next thing that I'm going to use is I'm going to use my pressed powder. And this stuff right here is fantastic for coverage. It's great for coverage, but it's also really great for highlighting and like locking in your concealer, locking in your makeup, because it's gonna, I just put my concealer on, so it's gonna lock onto that makeup. You can already tell how just that flawless finish that this powder gives. You can already see it, and how just blurred any imperfection on my face or under my eyes, and all that is. But on top of that, because I use the same shade as my concealer, which is one shade lighter than my foundation, it gives just kind of like that, a natural highlight. See, it's not that much lighter, but it gives a natural highlight, which brings attention to my eyes, which takes attention away from, you know, other things like my cheeks and, you know, and things like that can make my face look a little bit more broader, you can say. But anyways, that's how you use these things. You can also use a powder concealer brush for like the foundation and the concealer. You can use the liquid foundation brush. This is what I usually use. I swear by it. I love it. It's amazing. But this brush is great as well. I use it for my powder. So that's the basis of how to use the primer, the foundation, the concealer, the liquid foundation brush, and the pressed powder. If you have any other questions, let me know.